This is Leah with Backyard Homestead in Starkville, Mississippi, and we are out in the garden this morning cleaning up and doing some harvesting, and we were checking our cauliflower, and there are some that are just starting to flower. We're also checking for worms. There's another one out here having to hand pick the worms off, but it's starting to flower, and so it needs to be, we need to start blanching. When you blanch, you pull the foliage up around the plant to cover the head completely. You don't want any light to get to the flower, because if it does, it starts to, if it gets exposed to light, it starts to turn yellow. I'm going to show you an example of that in just a second. So you want to pull the leaves up so that you can't see the flower at all, can't see the cauliflower head. And this is one the worms got really into. Here's another one, so we're out trying to salvage him, and we had to pull off a lot of leaves, so we've got some other plants going beside. We're going to try to borrow some leaves from that and blanch it with some other plants' leaves. We'll see how that goes. But the worms haven't bitten into the head itself, into the flower. Yep, so we're going to pull. Oh yeah, I got it. Get another rubber band. So we cover him. We go down here. This is one that hasn't started. That's where it will start though. This is where you can peek down and see, and when you start seeing a little flower in there, it's time to start blanching. We've got this one covered well. We have this one covered well. This one's covered. This one on the end we covered, but then we came out and the rubber band had popped off, and this happened a couple times. Oh, there's a rubber band right there. It just rolled up. But this is the head, and this is what it looks like if it gets exposed to the sunlight. It just starts to yellow, starts to kind of yellow to brown. So we're going to harvest him today and eat him for lunch. And we're going to go double check all these. It's been so stormy and windy here with Cristobal. We think that maybe some of the bands just popped off. So we're going back and double checking everything and doing a good check for worms too. Yeah, this one is just starting. I mean, just barely starting. So we're going to go ahead and cover him. But definitely keep a check on your worms. They can get out of control fast. This one, yep. This one we blanched correctly. And look at him. Look how beautiful. There's very little worm damage. Blanched well, and it's still super firm. So we're gonna cover him back up and let him go for a while. But this is what you want. This head is huge and gorgeous, and no worm damage, and has not been exposed to the sunlight, so it's looking great. I'm gonna cover him back up. Thanks for watching. We're out there removing some of this. We picked all of the red Russian kale heavy, and now we're out here removing these plants, and we're going to chop them off. But we wanted to pull one just to show that this is why we don't use chemical fertilizers. Look at all the worms that are running for cover, but it's covered with worms, and our soil is good and rich and black. I wanted to show how those roots on the kale, because of our mulch, the roots are growing out sideways, and they just grow out through this mulch and just barely down in the soil, and then we've got worms everywhere. It's a good, healthy, living soil. And now we'll just go through the rest of the row. We're going to snatch these off at the ground and leave the roots in place, and then we'll just plant peppers right along beside them. May get some loppers and take it off right at the ground, we'll see. But good, rich, beautiful soil created by earthworms and mulch. Yeah. Something I forgot to mention, and this is right after that tropical storm Cristobal just came through, and this soil is still, I mean, it's good and moist, but it's ready. It's not completely soaked, it's not mucky, it's ready to go. So,
2 inches of rain.
And we had 2 inches of rain with Cristobal. So it's beautiful. We're just snatching these off, and then we're going to be ready to go right back in and plant. All right, we just did a quick little harvest today. We harvested all the red Russian kale because we needed that row. So we harvested all the leaves and we removed the plants because we need that row to plant peppers. And we harvested a few onions. We didn't go ahead and do our complete onion harvest yet. We're going to do that later this week, but we've been picking a few here and there to have with our meals. So this is for lunch today. 4 nice heads of broccoli, some nice cucumbers, nice little harvest of squash, and some more green beans. And our blackberries are doing really, really well. And we harvested a head of cauliflower as well, but I already have it inside soaking in salt water for lunch today. And that's it. Thanks for watching.